All right, what up, everybody? It's your boy Akeen, and welcome to today's vlog. Here to give you another scouting report. Gonna go on the defensive side. Here to talk about Demarcus Lawrence, the defensive end coming out of Boise State. Another Boise State defensive end, just like Shea McClellin, who was selected in the first round by the Chicago Bears back in 2012. But in my opinion, I think that Lawrence could be a better prospect overall than Shea McClellin due to his productivity over the past 2 seasons. And let's talk a little bit about him. Hailing from South Carolina, he was actually a JUCO college player. He played at Butler Community College before transferring to Boise State and signing with the Broncos. And he had 2 terrific seasons in 2012, 48 tackles, 13.5 tackles for loss to go along with 9.5 sacks. Now, in this past season, he actually increased his numbers, posting 67 tackles, 19.5 tackles for loss, and 10.5 sacks overall, increasing those numbers. And due to the departing from Chris Peterson, the former head coach of the Boise State Broncos, Lawrence decided to opt out his senior season and forego his senior season and headed to the National Football League's draft. And I think he could become a decent prospect and possibly a good starter for many 4-3 defenses in the National Football League. Now let's talk about his strength. Now he possesses good broad shoulders, long arms, and a lanky frame at 6'3", 245 pounds. And he actually has surprisingly good strength, 20 reps at 225 pounds. And also he does have a good initial quickness coming off the snap of the football to penetrate off the edge and get in between the gaps. And that's the good thing I do like about him, very quick just to get off that snap of the football and attack the football as well. Now he also has good versatility throughout his career as a Boise State Bronco. He played in just about all the positions and the D-line, defensive tackle and defensive end. And I think he could become a decent outside linebacker due to his size. He's a little bit lanky, and I think he could be even step back at the outside linebacker. Now I think he does have a couple of weaknesses I need to talk about. While he is quick, he did not have many. Wasn't asked too much to be used in coverage, and that's a little bit concerning for me. He is versatile. He does have the quickness to be a good covered linebacker, but I think that due to that fact, that's a little bit of concern. I'm not too sure about his coverage skills overall at the end to help out the pass defense, not only as a rush defensive end, but also in pass coverage overall. Couple other things: when he is locked in to a blocker, when a blocker actually has locked him in with his chest plate, he barely gets off of those blocks. Once he is locked, he never gets off most of the time. That is a concern for me. He needs to learn how to fight off blocks and continue to penetrate that line of scrimmage and attack the football to get to the quarterback, or even be a good run support defensive end. And one last thing he does need to work on: now his speed. He doesn't have the straight line speed that I want at the end. He does run a 4.840, not too bad, just about the average speed for the defensive end, but he was at least a 4.7. I think he will boost up his draft stock, possibly just off the edge of my top 5 defensive ends entering this year's draft. But he is still a good honorable mention, and overall I have to grade him a round 3 grade. I think he will be a good 3rd round pick of this year's draft. There's a lot of talent around, and for him at the defensive end and with the stock on defensive end, I had to put him in the 3rd round. Still think he's going to become a good prospect. Hopefully teams like in the NFC North, they just lost, the Minnesota Vikings just lost Jerry Allen. Minnesota is definitely looking to have a good replacement defensive end, and I think that he could be that guy to go in a rotation with Brian Roberson and Everson Griffin. But there's also a lot of other teams that can use him, and I think he'll become a good starter in this league, but possibly not a starter, possibly a good rotating defensive end for many defenses. So overall, I'm going to have to give him a 3rd round grade for this year's draft. Now, the next time I'm going to catch you guys is tomorrow to wrap things up for this week with all my scout reports. Going to head over to the offensive side. I'm thinking about doing an offensive lineman, but I'm still debating. But I'm still going to give you a scout report on an offensive player just to continue to put up with the rotations. Thank you for watching today's blog from Pro Football Exclusive. I'm your man, Akeem McCall. Be easy.